Go back to a story we talked about. We had Cornell Brooks at the top of the show talking about the case out of McKinney, Texas, in terms of the response there. You had a protest last night, massive police presence in the community as well. But I got to ask this question here. And where in the hell is the National Organization for Women?
No place.
I just want to know, if a 14-year-old girl is viciously treated in a vicious manner, I don't understand where the nation's largest feminist group, women's group, saying anything. Now, I went to their website, I saw nothing.
Right.
I went to their Twitter feed, I saw nothing. And in fact, they were tweeting on their Twitter feed about something that's 20 years old. When there's other issue, now will come to black folks and want us to stand with them and say something, but you say nothing here until you get called out.
Yes, and I agree with all the ladies. I think that this is a very significant moment, especially for young African-American women in the feminist movement, because there's been a rebirth of feminism on America's college campuses, both black and white, amongst young African-American women. And this is critical because they see that race trumps gender. They see it, and it's very clear. And when you spoke of the predominant African-American female organizations, I think one of the reasons why they're staying quiet is they want to respect the status quo. I also think they're staying quiet because a lot of them are funded by corporations that will be favorable to what the police did. So it's a case of looking out for my pocket as opposed to looking out for the rights of my own people.
Well, and also, I got to go to the break right now, but one of the things that, and again, I sent several sisters who involved in the hashtag Say Her Name campaign. And I said they've been having rallies across the country. We featured one of the sisters on the show, on my radio show as well, and I said the same thing. I said, I want to know, are they present and accounted for? Because, again, if you keep coming to black folks to stand with you on your stuff.
But it doesn't work the other way around.
It
doesn't work the other way around on the Rise of the Human Rights Campaign either.
It doesn't work the other way. It doesn't work the other way around.
We do stuff for them and they do nothing for us.
Our behavior.
But somebody has to be willing to call them out and to force them to say, where in the hell y'all?
You're listening to the most significant voice in black America. This is the Roland Martin Show on the Empowerment Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm going to be guest hosting the Roland Martin Show today from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Feel free to call in Empowerment Radio Network. That's where we are. We just finished the News One Now show with Mr. Roland Martin. We were talking about the situation that occurred in McKinney, Texas. Most of you have seen it. It went viral all over the place. Most of the major radio and newspaper and television networks have picked it up. The young sister, only a teenager, 14 or 15 years of age, who was treated like an animal, handled like a man. Police officer took her, threw her to the ground, pushed her head toward the ground, yanked her up, threw her back on the ground, rolled her over, pushed her head into the ground, put both of his knees on her back with the full weight of his body. And then the saddest thing of all occurred. We saw a black man walk over there and say absolutely nothing and do absolutely nothing to the police officer who was treating the little sister like this. Obviously, that brother, and I don't even want to call him a brother, chose not to act because he lived in that community with those white folk, and he valued his relationship with them more than he valued the respect and integrity of our young princess. So many misconceptions about this situation, as we saw in Baltimore, as we saw in Ferguson. First thing first, many of the children who attended that party lived in that neighborhood. Their parents were middle class. They were working class. But yet the perception on the media is that these children were poor, that they were, quote unquote, ghetto or hood. The other perception is that these children came out of nowhere and just bum rushed the party by jumping over fences. But most of them had passes. They had passes to attend a party to which they were invited. And the party, from what I understand, was hosted by a beautiful young African princess who lived in the neighborhood, who was there at the pool with her mother. But this all came about because white people did not want to see black children in their neighborhood. They started calling them the N-word even after the young princess explained to them that this is my party. They continued to call them names, and then one of them smacked the young lady, and then the other white woman jumped in with the white woman who smacked the young lady, and they proceeded to jump her, to bum rush her. And that's what caused all the chaos. But the police came in, and they knew what their job was. What is the job of the police? to protect white supremacy. Point blank, period. Y'all black. They do not want y'all here. And so we're going to do everything we can to run you out. The way they talked to all those children, the way they treated those children, and in essence, that princess was disrespected and manhandled by that racist policeman for the same reason Trayvon Martin was murdered, for being in a white neighborhood. I want to know what you think about the situation. One thing that was brought up on the show today, we talked about the poor response from America's black female feminist organizations. Have you guys noticed that almost none of the major black female organizations, said anything about what happened? Where are the AKAs? Where are the Deltas? Where are the Zetas? Where are Sigma Gamma Rho? Where is Black Life Matter, which I believe was founded by two lesbian sisters? Where are all the other National Council of Negro Women? Where are the black feminists? I keep hearing all this feminist stuff and black women need to be respected. And I agree with the black women need to be respected, not that feminist stuff. But nonetheless, if this is your platform, why are you saying nothing about the treatment of a young black girl who was half naked in underclothing, basically treated like a slave by that police officer? Why aren't we hearing anything from the black female organizations? I want to hear from brothers and I want to hear from sisters. I want to know what y'all think. This is the Roland Martin Show. I'm Dr. Umar Johnson filling in on the Empowerment Radio Network. We're going to have a serious conversation today about how we need to respond to police brutality and how we need to respond to black organizations who do not respond to us. I got to forgive me. I didn't forgot the call-in number already for today's show. Most of you can probably pull it up. If you have the call-in number, text it to me so I can go ahead and start putting that out there on a regular Facebook, or call in with your question or comment. Today we're talking about, among other things, because I never like to limit the conversation, but we're talking about police brutality and the black response to police brutality, and in particular the situation in McKinney, Texas. We're not surprised it happened because we didn't do nothing when they abused Rodney King. I mean, we did have riots, but there was no systematic, protracted struggle for political or economic discipline against the status quo for how they treated us. So we've seen them beat black men. We've seen them beat black women. We've seen them beat black elders. We've seen them beat black boys. And now they're beating black girls. When is the black community going to stand up? Where's Sharpton and Jesse and the rest of the mainstream state-approved black leadership, and what are they doing? So brothers and sisters, we're going to kick back. I'm going to open up my spring water over here. Got a couple of little snacks as I sit here and talk to you guys, but I definitely want to know what you think. I'm Dr. Umar Johnson, live on the Roland Martin Show. The callers are starting to call in, join in the conversation. What do you think about the lack of response from America's black female feminists and just general female organizations? Why aren't they speaking up about what happened to that young girl claiming to be for the black woman? I mean, I'm not criticizing or condemning them. I'm just concerned that they were not as concerned as we should have been with what happened there. 888-669-2281. 888-669-2281. We're going to go to the phone calls. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from North New Jersey. My name is Monterique.
Welcome to the show, Brother Monterique. Newark, New Jersey in the building. Brother Monterique, let me ask you, and of course, if you had a question or comment, that's fine, but let me ask you, the sister, we all saw it on TV, how she was treated by the police, and there was almost no response from the African-American female organizations, mainstream or feminist. Why do you think they didn't say anything? Was it because they considered themselves, above her or above this event? Were they afraid to go against the status quo? Is it because they're being funded by white folk? Is it because of their relationships with the white female feminists who didn't have a problem with what the police did? Why haven't the black female groups spoken up in defense of this young sister?
Well, in my opinion, Dr. Umar, I think that they didn't speak up because a lot of our people in general, black women and black men, there's only a few unapologetic black men and women. So I feel that they felt that their white friends maybe would have criticized them or looked at them different or sideways. So they probably didn't speak up, in my opinion, because the fear of being judged or ostracized, things of that nature.
Now,
even though that women belong to our race, but a lot of our women they have this inferiority complex where they need to be accepted by everyone else, and our men as well.
very good point. Very good point. Now, do you anticipate justice being served in this situation? Because we're hearing white folk support the cop and his behavior. In fact, they've been making videos, and it's been rumored that they might even do a crowdfunding site to raise legal funds to help him keep his job. Do you think this man is going to be fired? And of course, my answer is no, because they don't even get fired when they kill black children. So if they don't get fired for killing black children, I definitely don't see them getting fired for beating up one, even if she was female. Sad to say. What do you think is going to come of this? Is it just another incident where justice won't be served, or do you think it's going to be different this time because it was a half-naked female child?
No, honestly, I don't. I feel like white supremacy is sending us a sign telling us that they don't want us in this country, and that the FEMA camps that they've been building for years now are going to be used eventually. So I feel like black people need to wake up in this country and all around the world, and we need to start getting serious about the struggle, because we still aren't serious. Because out of all these conscious people, we still don't have any hospitals. People can go to the lecture, but people don't want to put in money for your school and other, conscious people who are doing things. So I feel like we need to get serious, but I don't think justice is going to be served. I think he's just going to be suspended, and then he's just going to come right back to the police force, and he might do it to another person. You never know. But honestly, I don't believe justice is going to be served. And I feel like white supremacy is sending other white people in this country a sign saying you can do whatever you want to black people, and we won't do anything about it. So it's just turn our eyes.
And that's basically, I totally agree with that. There is an unspoken message that's being delivered around this country to white folk. You hit it right on the head, Brother Montariq, right on the head. And I want to thank you for that call, my brother. Please feel free to give a call back. Always good to hear from you. But he's absolutely right. White supremacy has sent an unspoken message to white folk around this country that you can do whatever you want to do to black folks, and we're not going to do anything about it. Well said. Thanks for that call, Brother Montariq. We're going to go back.
Brother Umar, can I ask you a question?
Sure. I'm sorry. Go ahead, my brother.
All right, I just wanted to ask you, do you think that the knowledge itself is necessary in order for us to discipline our people to spend our money with each other? Because me and studying other groups of people and nationalities and races, I understand how powerful the dollar is now. I never understood it. I used to think that, knowledge was just everything, but no, it's the economics, the politics, and et cetera. So do you think the knowledge of self and teaching our people self-love is necessary in order for us to, let our people know that we have to spend with each other if we want to get out of our situation and if we want the nation built?
I think it is necessary, but not sufficient. And I want to qualify that, because it's the same thing with black consciousness. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient. In other words, it is a relevant step, but it is not the whole pie. A lot of us have knowledge of self. A lot of us know who we are and where we come from, but we're not committed. We're not sacrificial. We're not a sacrificing people. We're not a trailblazing people anymore. We're very scared of white folk. And I don't care how much you teach black people about who they are. If they're scared of white people, no amount of book knowledge is going to change that. And see, that's where we are. That's why we keep hitting our heads up against the proverbial brick wall, because we think that through the study, the problems get solved. I do not agree. In fact, people who don't study can solve their problems if they want to solve their problems. You understand? I always talk about the 19th century, 1800 to 1899, being our most progressive century since our fall from greatness in Africa. You can't give me another century outside of the 19th century, 1800 to 1899, to show me where black folk did better, except going back to before slavery. We didn't do better in 1601 to 1699, not 1701 to 1799. And we definitely ain't did it 1901 to 1999. Okay. And we ain't looking like we're doing it right now in the 21st century. But from 1800 to 1899, you had Shaka Zulu, Menelik II, Ya Asante Wa, Queen Nzinga. Okay, you had the Haitian Revolution. Slavery ended. Pan-Africanism was born. Marcus Garvey was born. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I mean, that was our century. And we need to study that. And what is the big difference between the 19th century African mind and the 21st century African mind? Is that the 19th century African mind was more committed. They also were more serious about solving their problems. They were less into the glamour of the struggle and more into the outcome of the struggle. Let me say that again, because the conscious community is real guilty about looking conscious. If you understand what I'm saying, looking conscious.
Exactly.
I look conscious. I do conscious. I dress conscious. I talk conscious. But we're worried about the appearance of the struggle, but not the meat and potatoes of the struggle. Martin Delaney and Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Booker T and George Washington Carver and Carter G. Woodson, they were concerned about the outcome of the struggle. And that's the difference. For a lot of us, this is nothing but a form of edutainment. I'm going to say it again. The conscious community, 95% of it is a form of edutainment. Those folks who snuck into my event on Saturday with fake tickets, they wasn't serious. Why would you sneak into Dr. Umar's event with fake tickets, knowing he's trying to build a school and pay for 2 college stores? So come on, but I don't want to take away from the positive of it, but that's where we are with that, Montarique. But I want to thank you for that call, my brother. We got some more on the line, so I'm going to have to run. Go ahead.
One more comment. It's going to be really fast.
Sure.
All right. I went to your event in Elizabeth, the Kwanzaa event, and
Yes.
I remember when you got on signing sheet, it got to about halfway across the room, and you told everyone before you passed it around, you said, "Do not leave until you sign my paper for the the parent committee."
Right.
Half the people in the room, they got up. As soon as you said you were done, half the people in the room who didn't sign it got up and left. What I'm going to say is, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm 21 years old, and I'm not playing this. I see where we're going if we don't get serious. I'm gonna have to start I'm at your lectures. I'm gonna have to start calling people out because we might have to say nobody can leave until you get something to your school because people aren't serious. People think this is a game. I don't think people know the outcome of this if we're not serious.
Agree. I thank you, bro, and I think you're right. We might got to lock that door.
Exactly, yeah.
Straight up.
All jokes aside, I'm really serious.
I'm serious. I'm with you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I love you as an older brother. You really showed me a lot of things. You introduced me to the politics and the mechanism. Salute to you. Me and my people will keep donating to your school. I really appreciate everything you're doing. God bless you, your daughters. And I just want to say, I really do appreciate you. I know you hear that a lot, but we do appreciate you because you're the only one who is really serious. You're one of the only ones. So thank you, Umar. We need more of you, but it's only one. But we really do appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
Thanks a lot, my brother. Appreciate that, y'all. That was brother Montarique from Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to the Source of Knowledge bookstore in Newark, New Jersey. Coming up next, we going to another call. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. Okay, I guess we lost that one. Do we have another caller on the line? If we do, state your name, caller, and where you're calling from. Okay, so some of y'all phones is jacking up a little bit there. Feel free to call right back in, 888-669-2281, 888-669-2281. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from. And make sure y'all turn on your radios. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, this is the real brother. Yeah, this is the real brother. I'm calling from Los Angeles. And to be honest with you, Dr. Umar, I think that... Are you there?
Hold that thought, my brother. Hold that thought. We're going to take a break, and we coming right back to you. Hold that thought for 1 second. Okay. You're listening to the Roland Martin Show, and we'll be right back after this message.
Giving you the play-by-play.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Dr. Umar Johnson filling in for Roland Martin on the Empowerment Radio Network. We're talking about the situation in McKinney, Texas. Young 14-year-old sister was beat down by the police, and we have heard almost next to nothing from any of the black female feminist groups, mainstream groups or black feminist groups. I mean, they run around talking about we respect the black woman, and a little girl was beat down, and we don't hear anything from these feminist groups. What do you think about that? I'm going back to the phone lines. We're talking to one of our brothers from Los Angeles, California. My brother, welcome back. Where are the black female groups, and why aren't they saying anything about what happened to that girl?
Okay, well, to be honest with you, they actually are. Let me tell you the truth about what's going on. The black women, 90% of whom hate black men in the first place, what's going on is the media and everybody, the narrative is that black men are degenerate and inferior. And 90% of black women want that message to be the message. So if the racists start killing black women, then you can't use the same argument that black women are degenerate and inferior when that's the lie that you're using to exterminate the black race by killing the black men. No, the white boys like them black women. If you're cute enough, then they want Holly Berry and Kerry Washington, so they ain't trying to kill them. They need to get rid of us. Now, obviously, if they killed every single black person in this country, then of course they're going to go after the black women. But they got to kill us first. So no, that would be like start killing Asians or Mexicans. No, the way to get the genocide jumping off is to kill black men. So they don't want to publicize anything that has to do with killing some black women or hurting or harming black women. No, they put them in jail because they're out of line. No, the meme is kill black men and then have the black PhDs go on the radio and say that it's a system of white supremacy and it's a system of whites are superior, and that's why they're killing the black men and the black boys. And that's not true. And so I think that the PhDs, Dr. Umar and you and Dr. Westling, you guys have to take responsibility for some of this with this lie that these people that are upset that President Obama is running circles around him and he has empowered black men, and they're going to put us in our place and put President Obama in our place by murdering people that look like him if he had a son. So can we at least talk about, Dr. Umar, why the black PhDs that have been taught by whites not to psychoanalyze whites, why you guys aren't in the forefront on getting this correct?
I'm a little confused by your assumptions and declarations there, my brother. I think many of us, I know it's not many of us, but some of us are definitely speaking up and playing our part in this situation. I, for one, am at the forefront, quite possibly, of the movement to do that. I know you often argue that we claim that white people are superior. I don't know where you're getting that from. We do.
Probably from the fact that you say that it's a system of white supremacy.
So you're telling me that there is no system of white supremacy?
No.
Are you saying that white supremacy does not exist? Are you saying that?
Yes, it is.
It doesn't exist. So white people. So you're telling me that there is no. But hold on. Let me give you a question. White supremacy is a social, economic, psychological, political, and militaristic system designed to keep the world's minority group of Europeans in control and power. It is based on their belief that.
Okay.
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish. It is their belief, although false and erroneous, it is their belief that they are superior. And because they know that they not, let me finish. And because they know that they are not superior, they have to create all sorts of dysfunctional systems to disadvantage its victims in order to stay in control. White supremacy is a lie. It is a lie. So what?
I'm the one saying it's a lie. You're the one saying it's a system. I'm saying it's a lie. You're saying it's a system. What is superior?
It is both. It is both. The lie is codified through the system. Yes, it can be both, sir, because the only way you can keep white folk in charge is to systematically disadvantage the competition. Okay, you gotta stop talking over me now. I'm willing to hear you, but you gotta stop talking over me. Now, I want to make sure I understand. Hold on. I want to make sure I understand where we disagree. That's the part I'm missing, the disagreement. Okay, white supremacy is a lie. Okay, but that lie is upheld by the system. Your turn.
No. Okay, my turn. Would an inferior race of people be able to put racism and white supremacy into a system? Would you have to be superior to be able to take your racism and put it in an envelope and mail it to Africa? Would you have to be superior to do that? Or could Asian people do it? Could Mexican people do it? Could black people do it? Could we put our racism in a bottle and throw it in the ocean, and it would come to Africa, and all of a sudden the Africans would hate each other and be criticizing black culture and the show empire and everything else black? Could we do that?
let me. I don't know if this. You all over the place, but I don't know. No, I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to answer it. Okay. But you're all over the place, so it's kind of hard to answer your question because you're all over the place. But let me say this to you, my brother. Let me say this to you. And I'll be in LA. I'll be in LA in August, by the way. But anyhow,
you gotta come on the Real Brother Radio show so we can talk.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let me know. Text my phone. I'll come on there. I'll definitely engage you. Text my cell 215-989-9858, and we'll set up that discussion on the rate 215-989.
Okay.
9858. 215-989-9858. Now, to answer the question, if this speaks to it, white folk were the fortunate beneficiaries of certain circumstances in history that gave them an opportunity, which they have exploited quite well, to take advantage of not only black folk, but much of the rest of the world. As far as we go, as African people, I would speak of two particular advantages. One of them was the gun. Without question, the development of the gun as a firearm gave the European the type of technology he needed to be able to fight and destroy and kill black people at a distance. See, we were not a militaristic people from that standpoint. We fought wars, yes, we did, but we didn't have a concept of genocide. Genocide is a uniquely European thing. African people, there's no record before our encounter with the European of black folk trying to systematically wipe out an entire other group of people. That was foreign to us. Where's the evidence? No. Where's the evidence? Where's the historical evidence of a group of Africans trying to wipe out and annihilate? Give it to me. You can give it to me. But you can give it to me verbally. You can show me the evidence later. Give me the name of the group that systematically exterminated. Huh?
I will give it to you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, but let me finish my point. Hold on, let me finish. Listen, let me finish. Okay, so the gun is what gave them that systematic militaristic advantage that allowed them to push their program. There was another. Would you be? Listen, if you keep talking over me, I'm gonna have to let you go. Listen now. Okay, I'm trying to have a dialogue. The other thing. So we're talking about the gun, the military advantage. The other advantage was us. And what I mean by that, and Chancellor Chancellor Williams talks about this, and that is the fact that when the European came to Africa, we were already engaged in petty differences. We were already engaged in quote unquote tribal warfare. So we were already disconnected and separated from one another. So when he came in, he was able to exploit the already existing petty differences. And then when the gun evolved, that just helped him close the story on the whole situation. So he was just a beneficiary of certain circumstances in history that have allowed him to do what he has done. But now we must turn the tide, because I do agree with you. White supremacy is a lie. But until we do something to challenge the system of white supremacy, that lie will remain in charge. Now go ahead and comment. I'm gonna let you make your comment, but then we got to run because we got 4 callers in queue. You got it.
Okay, real quickly, no, you're reading it wrong. The fact that Africans did not kill the entire white race was because we've had an 8 million year history. And the fact that there are 1.1 billion black Africans today means that when that group said, hey, we got the great idea, let's kill everybody else and we can dominate the world. Well, when that group sprung up, the Adolf Hitler group, okay, that particular group was what? they were isolated until they died off. So every race, the Chinese had the same thing with the Ming dynasties and stuff. So every race goes through a period of their evolution where somebody gets a great idea that if we kill everybody else, we can rule. White people are simply going through that stage now that we went through 7 million years ago. So, yes, in 8 million years, these people that want to kill everybody else because the president's black will be gone. Why? Because of the isolation. They were the dinosaurs. They were the birds.
I got you. I got you.
Hey, I got everybody else. We can
I got
king.
you, my brother. I got you. And I want to. I got you.
We're wrong.
Okay, I got you. Now I got to let you go. I got to let you go because we got to move on. We could go ahead and go to the next caller, but I want to thank my brother for the call, and please get in touch with me so we can do that interview.
Get you on the Real Brother Radio Show, Doc.
Yes, sir. Will do, my brother. Thanks for the call. We're going to go ahead. Okay, we're going to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Roland. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson, Prince of Pan-Africanism. Excuse me there, had a little bite. But we're talking about the situation in McKinney, Texas that transpired. 14-year-old sister beat down, treated like a dog, an animal. She was half naked. And I didn't appreciate that. When I saw that, that really unnerved me. I have a 13-year-old daughter myself. That really unnerved me that you would grab a half-naked female child. And we know the relationship between the white male and the black female in slavery. Okay, and how he was able to dominate her and treat her any kind of way that, you know, he wanted to. I didn't like it, but where are the female and feminist groups? Join the call, 888-669-2281, or post your question or comment on my Instagram or Twitter at Dr. Umar Johnson, or on my Facebook at Dr. Umar Ifatunde. We got 6 callers. We're going to go right back to the lines. They're heating up. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Kayla Jackson, I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Peace, Queen. Welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on what happened in Texas, firstly? And then why aren't we hearing a lot of outrage from the black female and feminist groups about it?
On the issues in Texas, I'm not really surprised at what I saw because we see it all of the time. I'm a little bit more shocked that it's minors and it was a female and the way that they were handled, but at the same time, they were black teenagers. We teach our children, I teach my 8-year-old son how to act around police. And as far as feminist goes, my comment on that is that feminism has never been about or for black people. And it's always been a white thing, and it's always been used to separate black women from black men. We never had a problem with our men before feminism came along or the women's rights movement came along. At the same time, the civil rights movement came along. So I'm not surprised that feminists didn't say anything about it. Their agenda is not aimed at us. It is aimed at white women.
Wow, that was powerful, my sister. That was powerful. Now, let me ask you this. Where do we go from here? Like, what do you think needs to happen? Because it's getting worse. I mean, they beat up black men, they beat up black women, they beat up black elders, killing black boys, and now they're beating up black girls half naked in a swimsuit. I mean, what is Al Sharpton, Jesse, and I don't just want to put it on them, NAACP, Urban League. I mean, where is black leadership, and why are they giving a silent approval to the police terrorism in the black community?
I'll be honest, I'm not a very big fan of Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton. I don't believe that they are for us either. They are for whatever makes them money or puts them on the news or gives them some form of acceptance within the white community. What I think needs to be done, and I think a lot of people think of this as an outrageous thing based on how far we've supposedly come, is that we need to segregate again. Honestly, we were not, back then when the civil rights movement came along, we were forced upon each other when we were not ready. We should have been able to keep ourselves segregated, build ourselves up to a higher standard and business level, then maybe talk about integration. But at the time, we needed to get ourselves together. So now we're taking on everyone else's problems, and this is not it. This is not the issue. We need to work on us. We need to work on supporting ourselves and our black businesses, building more black businesses, and only going to those black businesses instead of having to go to everyone else's business. I can't even, it's ridiculous. I honestly don't think we were ready for the integration when it happened. We're still not ready or prepared for it. We need to be off on our own by ourselves to figure ourselves out without the input of any other race.
Wow. Well said, Queen. Thanks for the call. I'll be in Charleston, South Carolina on Saturday. I know that's a little ride away from Atlanta, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
My mother lives in Charleston.
Oh, wow. You should come on out this Saturday, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the Sterrett Hall Auditorium. If you need a flyer, just shoot me a text or email. We would love to see you out there.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Queen. Be blessed. We're going to go to the next call. And before I call up that next caller, I'm looking at my Facebook, and someone made a very interesting statement. Someone said the reason why the feminists aren't saying anything about the white police beatdown of the 14-year-old sister is because she was beat by a white man. They said if it's not the black man doing the crime, then they don't care. Wow. Well, I know that was sarcastic. But it does have a ring of truth to it. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
How you doing, Dr. Umar? This is Ebony. I'm calling in from Boston.
How we doing there, Sister Ebony?
I'm doing all right. First off, I have the utmost respect for you, Dr. Umar. But I saw the post or whatever that you had made on Instagram about, what our feminists going to do. And I don't know, that just kind of threw me off because I feel like people are using this to, clap back at the feminists for, whatever reason. And I don't claim to be, no feminist or whatever.
Right.
I understand that that's, for white women and that we aren't included in that shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's damn, when can black men and black women just get on the same page? Why I got to be all this, pointing at each other? You know what I'm saying? And
right.
It's a lot of disrespect towards black women from a lot of black men, and you can't deny that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. There is a lot of disrespect towards black men.
It's very disheartening. It's very disheartening, and it is a lot of disrespect, to black men too. But I feel like black women are getting to the point where it's okay, we tired of the abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
but Ebony,
people say, well, what are the feminists gonna do? It's well, shit.
Let me clarify, let me clarify, Ebony. Let me clarify. The reason I asked that question, is because whenever the black male does something, the feminists are on it. For example, take my book. When my book came out, I had to explain myself in 50 different interviews as to why it was called The Special Ed and ADHD War Against Black Boys. The feminists came at me. When I talk about polygamy, the feminists come
bullshit, at me. Because I work in school and I know the war that they have on our black boys.
Exactly. But stay with me, Ebony. If you're going to jump on black men when you feel that they're not representing black women appropriately, how could you not jump on a white police officer who is blatantly disrespecting and abusing a black girl? Does that not appear to be, all right, Roland, does that not appear to be a contradiction?
But I've seen womanists or black feminists or whatever you want to call it.
And they're not the same though, Ed. They're not the same because the womanist does not have the black male as a reference in terms of being the opposition. The womanist embraces the black man, but also holds him accountable, whereas the feminist tends to see him as a major source of her problems.
Okay.
You follow me on that?
We have the leading cases in domestic violence. Those come from black men. That has to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? And it's only so much that you can take the abuse. That's just for instance, you wouldn't tell a woman to stay, or we wouldn't, we don't want to stay in this abusive relationship with a white man. So it's if we're being abused by our men too, it's we got a war on two fronts. And I just all I want for us is just to come together and just have some unity. I'm you know what I'm saying? This is getting to a drastic point, and we have to be unified. We can't be fighting each other.
I agree.
What I'm saying? It makes it hard.
Let me ask you a question,
you know
Ebony.
What I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question before I let you go, and I appreciate your comments, and we're on the same accord here. Do you believe that it is in our best interest for the feminist movement or even a black masculine movement, because there's even like a movement out there of some men against the women, just like there's a movement of some women against the men. Wouldn't it be better to dissolve the feminism and the masculinism movements and just have a black family movement? I mean, shouldn't that be the move? Do we need to have these separate gender-based struggles? Do we need that?
I say, we have a lot of things that we need to work out amongst ourselves. And until we can come to the table and be able to speak honestly, about these truths and these realities that we're experiencing, I feel like a lot of times black men discredit that and kind of overlook that. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, black women, we do have a unique struggle in this country because we're both female and black. You know what I'm saying? So our struggle has to be included in the conversation, and we can no longer be overlooked. And once you start overlooking women, like, we gonna clap back. You know what I'm saying? Because we hurting and we're tired of it. You know what I'm saying? But I totally and 100% feel you on what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? That we do need a black family movement. Absolutely, 100%. But I don't think we can get there until the pain that black women feel is addressed, acknowledged, and rectified.
Well said. Well said. Thanks for that call, Sister Ebony, representing Boston, Massachusetts. Love you too, my queen. And I'll be back up in Boston soon. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. You're listening to Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
This is Sister Anna McMillian, and I'm calling from Mississippi.
Yes, indeed. Queen, what do you think about what happened in McKinney, and why do you think we've heard next to nothing from the black female or feminist organizations about the treatment of this 14-year-old sister?
Well, what I want to first start off and say is when you watch the video, and I made a comment, and I said, we have failed our children. No one wants to discuss and talk about the
Hold that thought, Sister Anna. Hold that thought, Sister Anna. We got to go to break, and we're going to come June the 20th. I'm going to go back to the call. We're talking about the situation in McKinney, Texas, and we're talking about what happened and also the lack of response from the black feminist and female groups. Sister Anna, welcome back. You can go ahead with your comment.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. But what I wanted to just kind of touch bases on is that we have, as an adult and as elders in the community, we have failed our youth. And I got an opportunity to take a look at the video, partial of it, and I can't speak to its entirety because I was not there, of course. But when you look at the video, that same little sister passed by the police officer, walked across the street, turned around and came back across the street when the officer was having other black males lay down on the ground. He turned around and told her, when she was standing with a group of other females, that they needed to leave. They never left. So to speak to this, I'm going to speak to the arrogance of black women. And I know I'm going to have a lot of sisters that want to say something. And, by all means, you can call me, you can talk to me, whatever it is that you choose to. But I'm going to say this, because I did hear the brother's comment from earlier in pertaining to why black men, especially the ones with the PhD, haven't been sticking up for what needs to happen and occur that's going on in black America. And then I did hear the sister a little while ago who also expressed her discontentment about why did we have to so-called push the conversation about black feminists. Why does it have to be about what's going on from that angle? But let me say this. A lot of our sisters today are not on the level where they once were as black women. We need to get back to the original black woman. And until we get to that point, our community, our race, our nation is going to continue to keep dwindling. We keep trying to put all of the weight on the black man. Damn it, the black man has enough weight on him. You have to remember through slavery that black man had to sit there and watch everything before his eyes be ripped and taken from him. How the hell, coming speaking from a manhood perspective, is he supposed to gain back his self-dignity and respect as being a black man when every time he turns around, he is being degraded, he is being humiliated, he is being oppressed, he is being robbed, he is being killed, He has been told, shut up. You ain't worth nothing. You'll never be anything. I'm speaking from a mother who has a daughter and a son. So I can speak from both gender sides to a certain degree. I can never tell my son how to be a black man. I can show him from a feminine aspect of what he needs to look for from a black woman, but I can never teach him how to be a black man. Only a black man can teach him how to be a black man. And from that perspective, we have to look at where we have gotten with our young ladies. Our girls are no longer being feminine as women. They are becoming more masculine. We are teaching them and telling them from our bad ordeals in life. And I'm gonna break this down a little bit because I really want to make sure I explain this.
I need you to wrap it up in 30 seconds, Sister Otta, because them lines is popping. But go ahead.
I know, but it's something that's very dear to me. And the fact of the matter is, yes, we have our youth. Yes, we're not teaching them the reality of white racism. We are not teaching them that. We are thinking that just because we are economically set on a level that we think is on the same level with white supremacy, that we have bypassed that level, and it's incorrect. We are not teaching them that just because Mama makes this amount of money, yes, I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, yes, because I have a degree, yes, I'm a part of this sorority or that part of this organizational group, that white supremacy no longer affects you as a black child. That is a lie. We have to get back to the truth, and the truth of the matter is,
Go ahead, finish that.
We have to go ahead and we have to separate. Garveyism, Pan-Africanism is the only way to go. Black women have got to gain control of what we as black women must do. Let black men handle black men issues. Black women, let's handle our issues. Let's stop the hypocrisy in placing it.
Well said. Well said. Thanks for that, Sister Anna. Well said. I agree 150%. We're going to move on to the next caller. Welcome. A nice conversation. Sister Anna hit a big note. Sister from Boston hit a big note. Everybody hitting some notes. The Queen from Atlanta. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, my name is Sister Tammy, and I am in Orlando, Florida.
How we doing, Sister
Tammy?
And
first of all, I'm doing just great. And first of all, I always want to give honor to you, King, for being who you are and doing the things you do. And I just want to make a brief statement. I feel like all these distractions, black people need to realize all these distractions, black feminism and all of this, we don't need that. We need to stay focused on our people and focus on what we need to do as a black nation, as a black people, to come up out of the oppression and everything that is being done to us. All these other things, black man versus black woman and all that, all this media stuff, all of that is distractions. We need to stay focused on the main goal, and that is us uniting, and that is us coming up out of this.
Why do you think, Sister Tammy, why do you think that it seems that a lot of women and men, okay, this isn't one or the other, it seems like a lot of men would rather fight as men without the women next to them, and a lot of women seem like they would rather fight as women without the men next to them. Neither side can win without the other, but why would we rather fight without our mates? Like, what is it about us and our community? Go ahead.
That is a mental thing that has been put in us through white supremacy for so many years. And I've learned that from you. And it makes sense. We got some mental issues going on that we don't even know about. Some of us don't even know about. We need to recognize that the black man needs the black woman and the black woman needs the black man, and it's as simple as that. Okay?
Powerful.
We need each other. That black man needs his woman to encourage him, to lift him up, to keep him going. That black woman needs the black man to protect her, to help provide for her, so that she can teach the children. You understand? So all this separation, we will never get anywhere as long as we remain separated. And as far as I'm concerned, all this lesbianism and homosexuality, that's bull crap as well. Because when you look back to our African heritage, ain't none of that going on. None of that wasn't going on. We are here to reproduce, be fruitful, and multiply. So all of that homosexuality and lesbianism is bull crap. I don't care how you put it or want to say it. You got to deal with the issue.
Well said. Thanks for that call, Sister Tammy, representing Orlando, Florida in the building. Thanks for that call, Queen. Feel free to call back. We're going to keep on rolling to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Bakari Lumumba. I'm calling from Dayton, Ohio.
How we doing, Brother Bakari?
I'm good.
All right. What is your take on this, brother? We're talking about the situation in McKinney, Texas, and obviously the question that was put out there is the it couldn't be ignored. It could not be ignored that so many female and feminist groups, who are about this work of protecting the integrity of the black woman, now they are as a result of the voice coming out, but we ain't heard nothing from them, since that thing kicked. It seemed like a contradiction. Not that they were being denigrated or criticized, but it just seemed like a contradiction because if a black man sneezes at a black woman the wrong way, they all up on him. But here's a white cop who beat this sister down in broad daylight, almost naked, and we heard nothing from him. So what do you make of that?
Well, I think one of the things I always tell people is that, we know there's different stages of black people's political thought or ideology. Typically, when you meet a black person who is just now coming into the knowledge that things aren't what they're supposed to be, they're typically an integrationist, and that's what's most prevalent. Particularly, I would argue with black women. When they're coming into knowledge that things aren't what they're supposed to be, typically they go straight to black feminism. But usually when a person becomes more educated and actually understands the system and how it works, she will become a black nationalist or a Pan-Africanist. Same with the black woman. She will become what an Africana woman is. Mm-hmm. When I talk to most sisters who are black feminists, they've never even heard of Africana womanism, let alone even read the book by the sister Kanoa Hudson-Williams. You see? So I think part of it is we really understand that what black feminism is white feminism and what black face. And that the goal really is not to actually challenge the power structure. It's simply to, create foolish infighting amongst each other, Case in point,
hold that thought for 1 second, Brother Bakari. Hold that thought for 1 second, my brother. We got to cut the break. Hold on. We coming right back to you so we can finish that thought. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting hot and heavy. I'm also going to read the Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. We're talking about the McKinney, Texas situation, and we're talking about the lack of response from formal feminist groups. I see a couple Facebook messages. One sister said, I do have feminists speaking up on my Facebook page, and that's good. I'm glad to know that. But that's not the same as an organization with hundreds of members in it that have a voice, who are regularly on the news, on TV, out in the community, not saying anything. I mean, it's one thing to put a post on Facebook, but I'm talking about speaking truth to the power structure, like Brother Bakari was talking about, challenging the system of white supremacy as opposed to just causing a bunch of infighting campaigns. Brother Bakari, you're back. Please go ahead and continue your message, my brother.
No problem. So I was stating, we understand that, if someone's a novice in terms of the political thought, they're going to gravitate towards integrationism or black feminism as opposed to Pan-Africanism, Africana womanism. Because being an Africana womanist actually puts in the work. Africana womanist says, I have to work with my man. The Africana womanist states that I can't be free unless the black man is free, and vice versa. The Africana womanist states we need to lean on our history and our culture to solve our problems, as opposed to the black feminist. I think the other issue that we have to raise is that, and this is something we're trying to do here in Dayton, is that wherever black people are located, we have to have an association of black police.
Ooh, I love it. Go ahead, my brother.
We have to. When I was in the military, unfortunately, I was in the wrong military. I didn't know any better. But when I became conscious, I was a non-commissioned officer. We formed an association of black non-commissioned officers on that base. So whenever junior enlisted black soldiers had problems, they brought it to us, and we took care of their grievances. Now, if I walked in there by myself, talking about, hey, I'm a Lumumba, they're going to get out of our face. But so we argue that this is important so that when we're not getting justice, it isn't a go along to get along type of campaign, as that was really even articulated and shown in the movie The Spook That Sat by the Door. So these are the type of things, and we're talking about true organization, you know, and I tell people, if you're not pushing Pan-Africanism, you're playing games. Jesus is going to save us from getting killed by white people. Jesus is going to teach your son how to read and write. Jesus is going to solve the problem of the political economy. Jesus is going to solve the problem of neocolonialism and globalization. We have to solve that problem for ourselves.
That's right.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Boom.
I think that it's just of great importance that the main majority is we have to get brothers and sisters on the force to come in tandem with us. But the problem is oftentimes they believe can they have on a uniform, that they, you know, these issues really aren't the case, so on and so forth. But if we could find maybe a few brothers or sisters in each county that are conscious, we could create an association of black police in every county where black people populate. And we probably only need 10 people, but having that type of organization to come out and say, we don't condone this behavior, or if you have a situation and say, you know what, this officer was out of line, and we stepped in and stopped them.
Powerful, powerful. Thanks for that, Brother Bakari. That was powerful.
Only reason I appreciate
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, finish that.
The only reason I'm saying this is because I myself, in the military, I was in the Army, okay, did this while I was in the service. So I'm not pushing a theory that has no practical application. I did this myself when I was in the military, and we're talking about fratricide, to where if you're doing something that no one likes, they shoot you in the back while you're out in theater.
That's
so
right.
I think part of it is we have to, you know, take off the little boy pants and stop talking tough and actually be what it is we say we are.
Pow. Thank you, my brother Bakari. That was on point, my brother. That was powerful. Thanks. Shout out to Brother Bakari and all the strong brothers and sisters up in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, that whole area. Can't wait to come to Wilberforce in August. Very much looking forward to that. He was right on point with that. Let's go right back to the phone lines, brothers and sisters. But before we do, let me do this. Before we bring on that next caller and callers, I appreciate your patience. I got to read some of these Instagram messages because my Instagram is on fire, as well as my Facebook. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Umar Johnson, DRUMAR Johnson. One word, no spaces, no periods. Now, what we got here? We got black women lives matter less than black men. Someone said, Dr. Umar, that is a good question. Someone said we need to speak on this. Someone said the feminist movement supports the white supremacist agenda. Someone else said, I called and I could barely hear you, but I'm calling back. Somebody said, I can't stand the feminist movements. Where are all the domestic violence activists? It seems like the only people that are allowed to hit women are police. Wow. I'm so upset the way that he was talking to the young men and slamming the sister on the ground. Someone said, Umar, don't use this as a platform to attack the feminists. I'm not attacking the feminists. Someone said, I think that's an assumption. I'm a black feminist who attended your lecture this past weekend with my husband, and I'm completely appalled by the whole incident, and I've been as vocal as I can be. And I can respect that, sister. I can respect that. Somebody said those kids should never have been there in the first place. Yes, they did have a right to be there because they were invited and they had tickets, so I don't agree with that. Someone said they're all naked and twerking because the black man with money told them to. That's a white woman. I'm not sure how she got on my page. Someone else said they are afraid of going against the current status quo. Black feminists are worried about their position in a Eurocentric society. I do agree with that, and I think that's why we haven't heard from them. Someone else said, I don't believe his intention was to get at the feminists. Dr. Umar is just calling y'all to action. Someone else said, when Rick Ross made the verse about women, the feminists came from all over the place, but now they're quiet as a mouse. Someone said the whole feminist movement is still mind-boggling to me. There should only be one agenda in our community, and that's nation building. Point blank. Period. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, good day to you, Dr. Umar. This is Brother Abdul.
How we doing, Brother Abdul?
State.
Washington State. Yes, sir. How we doing, my brother?
Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm originally from Philly, though, so, you know.
Oh, that's love. No doubt. No doubt. You know, Odun Day is this Sunday in Philly. And let me let everybody know that one of the largest traditional African spiritual festivals, Odun Day, and one of the oldest continuously running festivals, Odun Day, which is in South Philadelphia, the second Sunday of every month. It will be this Sunday. So if you're looking for something to do on Sunday, drive on up to Philly. I'm speaking in Charleston Saturday, but I'm going to try to get a flight back to Philly because I haven't been to Odun Day in about 10 years. you know, and I am the Prince of Philadelphia, so I'm gonna have to get on back to Odunde. So I'm gonna try to make it back to Odunde and, you know, see some of my old friends and old haters from back in the day. But go ahead, my brother. The floor is yours. What do you think about what happened in Texas, and then why do you think we haven't heard much from the organized and large? Let me specify the organized and large and well-funded black female and feminist groups. Why are they so quiet about the beating down of a black girl?
Right. So, yeah, what I think first is that, you know, I've done my research on this, obviously, as we all should. You know, people said that they just saw the video. Well, keep digging deeper, because then you find that the person who recorded it just so happened to be a young white boy. You know what I'm saying? And then the person who held the party was a black girl, when the whole rumor was going around that white people was the one who held the party. So people just need to stop allowing these rumors to go around and get the facts, so you can know what's going on. Everybody talks about, you know, nation building. Well, the first thing you need to do as a nation is have your facts straight. So let's get our facts straight, take our time, and see what's going on. And as everyone can see, you know, okay, he's slamming down the sister. And I heard the other sister say that the cops told her to go across the street and this, that, and the third. This is my thing. People obviously do not know the law. The law says that the military is in strict subordination to the civil authority, to the civil power. Last I checked, we are the civilians. So people don't even know that these people don't even have a constitutional right to tell you what to do. Get into your state constitutions and start reading. And secondly, with the feminists, I'm going to go back to that situation. Remember when the feminist was attacking you when you were doing your presentation?
Yes, Kansas City, Missouri.
Remember that? Yeah, and she said, you know, that a feminist started the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yep.
Well, it was very interesting that Tariq Nasheed exposed, you know, exactly why that happened. Because if you start a Black Lives Matter movement, that means now you have a White Lives Matter movement and an All Lives Matter movement. So it just goes to show that they don't care about, you know, what we're going through as, you know, an individual community, as long as it benefits them. You see what I'm saying? So we already know what the deal is with the majority of these feminists. We're not talking about these individual women out there who are feminists. We're talking about these mainstream movements that we already know that their agendas do not back ours. So you're doing the right thing by calling them out. See, and I think that's another issue with our people. You know, if you just say the feminists, they don't critically think and know that you're talking about the mainstream, because they just don't pay attention to these things. But, you know, I just implore our people to do their own research and stop giving these cops excuses. They don't have power over you. I filed paperwork with the Attorney General, the Governor, and the Sheriff. And I told them that if I get touched, it's $9,000 a piece.
That's right. Just touch me.
You know what I'm saying? And I put the Constitution in there. I copy and paste the Constitution. And I dare them to pull me over. I dare them to do it. So get into your state's constitution, read it, and stop acting like it don't apply to you, because it do. Stop being punks and read. Get it together.
Well said. Well said. Well said, my brother. Thanks a lot for that call. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Dr. Umar. This is Angela Simpson calling from Mississippi, the Mike Magazine.
How you doing, Sister Ange?
How you doing, Doc?
All right.
First of all, this last caller, oh my God, I'm like, he can't get off the line quick enough. He's not using common sense to me. You're gonna sit there, print out some paper, tell people you know your constitutional rights. Well, you won't have time enough to plead it, sir. Anyways, I just want to say, the Black Feminist Group, I know your question. Can you state that question again, please?
Yes, the question, and let me clarify, and I'm glad you asked me to restate it, because I don't want people to get it misconstrued as an attack on a feminist. But here's the question. Okay, everyone saw what happened to that girl. The question is, when a black man says something wrong or does something wrong to a black woman, the feminists are all over the place. I brought up my book, and when my book came out, I was attacked by the feminists for the title being the special education and ADHD war against boys. They said I totally ignored the plight of girls. My argument was I wasn't ignoring them. I was just focusing on the boys because their war is greater. So why didn't they have the same attack against this white cop when he beat down his sister? They have been quiet, Angie, quiet. But hold your thought. You're going to answer that on the hold your thought. Hold your thought. Hold your hour to go. We're talking about the situation in McKinney, Texas. Our young sister beat down in almost no clothing, just dragged around by a white police officer, treated like, you know, she was an animal, and we haven't heard much from our largely organized and well-funded black female and feminist groups. And we was drawing a contradiction or parallel because whenever black man does anything even slightly insinuating or suggestive of disrespect towards black femalehood, he's attacked like crazy. You know, rappers attacked, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be in some cases, don't get me wrong, but why not the same thing for this white police officer who beat down his sister? I thought it would have been marches, Angela. I thought it would have been protests, Angela. I thought they would have been calling for him being fired. I expected to see millions of women in Texas marching under the banner of feminism. Even the white feminist women ain't saying nothing, but we ain't expect them to say anything because we know race burns class. Race always burns class, and race burns gender. Race burns gender. But in your opinion, Angela, I mean, you know a lot of these feminist sisters. What's up? Why they not pushing this? I'm not saying you're a feminist, but why you think they're not speaking out? Why are they not speaking out?
First of all, my name is Angela after Angela Davis, and she's one of the biggest people to gather around and start some things up. I don't hear her. Okay? First thing I want to say, black feminist groups can get it. They can get the same thing their male counterparts are getting. White supremacy is no respecter of persons, as stated earlier when you talk with the guy who was talking about PhD. They don't care. Okay? You can gather these women up all you want to. They're going to put the water hose on them, okay? I'm just being honest. They don't care about a black feminist group, and these black women know it. I want to also say that it's unfortunate that this happened to our black baby, okay? I have a 17-year-old daughter. I heard you say your baby was 13. This is a disgrace and a dishonor and a slap in the face to any black parent. We should all be upset, not just the black feminists, but the black minimalists, if that's the word.
True. I feel you.
You know, and I just want to say they ain't just started with our kids. I'm in Mississippi, man. They killed Emmett Till for looking at a white woman. So, hey, what do you expect in Texas? And I want to say I disagree with Sister Anna. With all due respect, women should indeed play our role. We should play our part. However, blacks should expect to be martyred. Our black men, you know, it sounds as if she was trying to, but just let me stick to what I wrote. I said, however, black men should expect to be martyred in efforts to be effective for the next generation. We don't want our warrior men to die, but we don't fear. We shouldn't fear anything. We can't keep babysitting our black men and start fighting his battle for him when indeed women should be playing their role. We just need to do our part. Everything else will fall in place. We don't want y'all to die, Umar. We don't want that. But if it's going to take that for us to be effective for that next generation, Dr. Umar, we welcome it. We should welcome it. We don't raise cowards in the black neighborhood. We don't raise black cowards.
That's right.
All right, well, I'm going to get off the line because I done made myself a little
powerful.
Man, where are the black men? You know,
that's a good point. That's a good point, Ange. You know why? I'm gonna go with you there. You're absolutely right. Where are the black organizations that are led by black males? The Congressional Black Caucus, the black fraternities, the NAACP, the Urban League, Jesse's Group, Owl's Group.
Where are they?
Yeah, that's true. Nobody. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
You know, and the thing is, we can't even expect the mainstream organizations to step out there. I play Zeta Phi Beta, okay? We are not even rallying around. You wouldn't even know I'm a Zeta unless I told you. I'm so disappointed with these organizations, okay? They let us down so many times that we expect the letdown. We expect it. That's why now, you know, when you have mainstream media, even if the black women were standing out there, they wouldn't put it on TV. They wouldn't let us know. It's kind of like with Denmark Betsy, right? They didn't want us to know we were rising up and making noise. They wanted us to seem as if we were so submissive. So even if they were out there, we wouldn't even know about it in mainstream media. So, Dr. Umar, hey, how is everything coming with the funding for the school? Y'all did the thing in New York. Man, y'all just doing y'all thing.
We pushing, Queen. We pushing. It don't ever stop. Getting ready for Charleston, getting ready for Birmingham, getting ready for Oklahoma City, and getting ready for San Antonio. We just pushing, and we getting ready for the Black Boy College Tour. We getting ready for the Black Boy College Tour, and then next year we're going to do the girls and the boys together. So I'll keep you posted on that. You're going to have to do a story in your magazine for us. So,
absolutely. Look, are the parents welcome to go with the baby boys? They always
of course not. There you go with that feminist stuff. Stay y'all butts away from the boy. This for the boys. They don't need their mothers on the bus. No. Hell no. Thanks for that call, Sister Ange. We will definitely wrap later, everybody. You do the same. That was Sister Angela Simpson, publisher of the Mike magazine out of Mississippi. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
This is Sister Anna from Mississippi.
Yes, indeed. Sister Anna. You've heard some dialogue since you were on the first time. So what do you think?
Well, let me first make a correction. And, all due respect to some of my sisters here on the call, the old school sisters that know what I'm talking about, they don't have an issue with it. It's the new school sisters that we so-called have an issue with it. So let me first correct something. Black males are the most targeted out of the genders of being exterminated. And I'm going to say it again. Black males are the most targeted gender out of our race that are being exterminated. I don't want to hear, and I have no interest in listening to, and I'm just, being honest. When I hear sisters say, where's the black man at? I'm going to say it again. As soon as a black male is born, the physician, the government, his own family, his community is working against him to annihilate his masculinity and standing to be a black man. He cannot protect the black woman if he cannot stand on his own 2 feet and be a black man. The situation that happened with the sister in Texas, let me correct the young brother who came on earlier, who was referring to me. I never said the police officer told her to walk across the street. Let's check the facts, my brother. Pull the tape. The tape shows where the sister was arrogantly, and this is not to excuse any white man or any person, period, putting their hands on anybody else's child. But she basically baited. That means the arrogance and the attitude of black women that say, you don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do. We get that from our grandmothers. We get that from our mothers. We get that from our aunties. We get that from the women in our community who have taught us and told us, you don't trust a black man. You never trust a black man. You don't get a bank account with him. You make sure it's separate. Everything you do, you keep it on the low to yourself. Even when you get married, it is this type of mentality and training that is within our black women as of today. And you wonder why black men can't get a good, happy marriage. You wonder why black men can't turn around and have a beautiful relationship. You wonder why our black boys are struggling in school the way they are. Because when we sit down and we look at it, what type of support do we have for black males? Young black males as well as grown black men. Let's look at it. Don't tell me this is what's going on and the sisters are doing this and they're trying to do that. There's a lot of sisters that's on the low, and those are the original old school sisters that these young age sisters are given a bad name when you look at black women in its entirety. So when we're going to speak about something, let's speak about it in its entirety. Don't put some of it. Like we got sisters in the conscious community. You want to wear your dreads. You want to wear your afro. You want to wear your dashiki. You want to talk Yoruba. You want to do your meditation. You want to do all of this. But then at the same token, when it's time for you to act on it and do what you need to do to help uplift our community, you don't want to do that. The first thing you want to do is lay it to the side and tweet all damn day. You want to talk all day on Facebook. You want to do everything else that is degrading and that is not helping. But we got to fix the issue.
Let me cut you in there. Let me cut you in. This is the honor. The engineer said we got some more calls. I want to squeeze them on in, but I'm agreeing. But wrap that up. I don't want to cut you right there. Give us 10 more seconds, and then we can move.
My thing is that we got to, and I do agree with the sister from earlier, it has to be a mutual balance. It always has to be a mutual balance. That is what the Creator created. There has to be man and it has to be one man. We both have to work on an equal balance together, but we both have to significantly understand our right position within this universe. That means let that black man be that black man. Let that black woman be that black woman. Let's build this family. Let's build this community, but we have to do it on a balanced level.
Powerful, powerful. Thanks for that, Sister Anna. Thank you. We're going to run. Well said again, sister. Next caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Knowledge. I'm calling from New York City.
New York City, brother Knowledge. Were you at Three Kings, Brooklyn this past Saturday?
No, so I just got up here like a couple days ago.
Okay, you just got there. That's all right, my brother. You'll be at the second annual Dr. Umar Johnson Conference, God willing. What do you think about this conversation, my brother? Situation in McKinney, Texas. This officer beating his sister down like that. Hold your thought, brother Knowledge. We're going to come right back to you. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right on back. You're listening to the Roland Martin Show. This is guest host for today and tomorrow, Dr. Umar Johnson. Yes, yes, yes. Fight the power, black people. It is time to fight the power. We have to, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I am the guest host on the Roland Martin Show here on the Empowerment Radio Network. Today and tomorrow, we have 2 powerful hours of conversation so far this Tuesday morning, and it is now noontime, so we got 1 more hour of power. I'm going to ask the callers calling in, please keep your comment brief and to the point, because we only have 60 minutes left, and we're going to pick up tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m., and we're going to keep the conversation moving. I'm looking on my Facebook right now. Brother Anthony Hilliard said, so white feminists can attack so-called street harassment against black women when the narrative demonizes the black man as some thirsty, oversexed predator, but the same organization can't back a 15-year-old black female manhandled in a bathing suit by white police who also sat on her back by the same police that had a sexual complaint filed against him. Okay, I see who this works for. Wow, I didn't know that. He's saying that the white police officer had a sexual complaint already against him, so maybe he got some type of pleasure out of that. I don't know. That's crazy. Also, we got here, somebody's upset at me. He said, how divisive is it to insinuate that black feminists have not been vocal? Black feminists have been speaking against police brutality for a long time. Angela Davis, Dr. Umar doesn't wish to build with a sect of black people that identify as feminists. Okay, he said I condemned them simply by asking where they were. That's wow. So you're not even allowed to ask a question, huh? I said, why aren't they speaking up? I didn't condemn them. I just said, why aren't they speaking up? Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Knowledge. I'm calling from upstate New York.
Yes, sir, Brother Knowledge. I'm sorry, you was already on. Go ahead, Brother Knowledge, with your comment. What do you think about all this?
Well, first of all, Dr. Umar, I just want to say, basically, the feminist group wasn't meant for us. Like you stated in the, or someone had stated in the first sitting color. That wasn't for us. We were okay. We had our own things going. What they did, they used that as a tool to divide and conquer the black man from the black woman. Because we had our things together. We were pro-black a long time ago. You know, we had the Panther movements. We had things going on. So what they did is they made it seem like our women were being degraded or something, and we had no problems in the home. We were fine, you know? So I think that it's not about being a feminist. I think it's about us being us. And, you know, it's not just, okay, yeah, it's an issue with the blacks, but we also know it's an issue with the Puerto Ricans, Spanish, and it's an issue with everybody. But what happens is the women tend to have this sort of idea in their minds that they don't have to listen to us. And yes, it's been programmed, like the previous young lady had said on the phone. It's been programmed. So, you know, how do you break a program? You know, everybody's so codependent on a financial structure, and we could create our own financial structure. Nobody wants to put in the time or work, the blood, sweat, and tears to do that. You know, we can secede from this government, and we don't have to work for them. We don't have to pay their bills. We can go, you know, do our own thing and live prosperous, like, you know, people on a reservation do. You know, I mean, and it's sad to hear some people, and they throw on blame, and you get on and you can hear just in their voice, the energy isn't what it should be. You know, it's frustration instead of, you know, trying to gain understanding. You know, we can sit here rah 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 all day with the whoop, but it's not going to get us anywhere in the long run because we're just, you know, we're talking in circles. We're working against each other. You know, one black person has a problem with what another black person says, and guess what? That's just what they want. You're winning for them. They don't have to come out and hang you no more. They just put drugs in there, money in your face, and you go shoot each other over it. You know what I mean? And it's sad. I don't understand it.
Well said, my brother. Thanks for that call. Shout out to New York. We appreciate that. Go ahead.
I appreciate you, Dr. Umar, and I look forward. Hopefully, I can build with you on the schools that you're doing.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I'll be back up in New York on the 21st of Father's Day. Attorney Alton Maddox, they're having a powerful program for the sister Tawana Brawley, the same Tawana Brawley that was made famous, for, obviously, you know, for reasons I'm sure she wouldn't have wanted to be, but, you know, during the Spike Lee days of Do the Right Thing, we talked about Tawana Told the Truth, the sister who was raped by the white police officers. Well, that situation is still going on. So I'm going to be up speaking in New York on the 21st, and I can send you that information if you're interested. But let's connect sometime, my brother.
Please do. I'm on your Facebook friends. I'm Irish Allen. So please, I look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, sir, my brother.
All right.
Thanks
a lot, man.
Blessings. Shout out to everybody in Brooklyn and all across the country who came out to Three Kings this past weekend. We're going back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. State your name and where you're calling from, please. State your name and where you're calling from. Yes, how we doing, sis? You are on. You're live on the Roland Martin Show. Please state your name and where you're calling from, sis.
All righty. I'm sorry. Thank you. This is Dina from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta. Yes, ma'am. What do you think about this conversation, sister?
I love the conversation, but I'm tired of conversations. We do this all the time. I just wanted to bring out a point that, first of all, who are we waiting for? If you're not out there and I'm not out there and we're on the phone, nobody's out there. So the point is, if you're not going, don't expect anybody else to go. That's number one. Number two is, what are we doing in our own household, our own community, to bring whatever we're saying out here to fruition? I mean, can we keep, you know, looking at someone else to bring us to a point of awareness, or are we going to start taking control and being involved in our own households and communities? My thing is, before you even get on any show, before you call and say your point, say what you're doing. Because I'm actively involved in my community. I've been a foster parent for 5 or 6 years. I've done a lot of things to bring up my community. And what I notice is people stand back and let you carry all the weight, and all they do is complain. So all this complaining, and mamas on here talking loud and saying, you know, women need to be women and men need to be men. We all need to step back and wonder what we're going to do personally to make, before we talk about making anything better, making ourselves better and trying to train our communities and our kids and our families in a way where we can stand proud. And then maybe when we're not out there buying stuff that we don't need, we have the time to go out there and protest. But really, to me, if it's not about us getting our funds together, owning some stuff, it's just a waste of time.
Wow, I agree with you, my sister. We do have to be self-accountable. I agree with that. Thank you for that statement, my sister. Thank you for that. Very, very powerful. Indeed, sister. Atlanta, Georgia, which will be the pick-up and drop-off place for the Black Boy College Tour. Don't forget, Friday you'll be able to register your son, your nephew, the young man in your life for the Dr. Umar First Annual Black College Tour. And it looks like we're going to be leaving and returning out of Atlanta, Georgia. Information on drumarjohnson.com or princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. Coming to you Friday. You can... Got you. Okay, let me go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. State your name. Okay. While I'm waiting for that, Someone posted on my Facebook, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, that Tracy Carver Alberton, woman who assaulted the teenagers and used racial slurs, works at Bank of America. Isn't that interesting? Bank of America. So all my Bank of America people, we might need a crusade and force Bank of America to go ahead and drop her as an employee. But then again, Bank of America was linked to the slave trade, so they done worse things than this. Also, we have something else. The feminists are mad at me for asking them what are they doing. Let's see. Dr. Umar, we need you out here. Somebody said feminism has now mutated into lesbianism. Wow. Somebody else said the reason why they're not speaking up about what happened in McKinney, Texas is because they're too busy cheering on Bruce Jenner and his alter ego. Oh, my goodness. Y'all heavy. Y'all cruel. Somebody said if you look on the Facebook page of the one who made it her life mission to demonize black men, you will only find her latest vegan diatribe and her annoyance with transgenders, plus her latest man gripe. Caller, we got a caller. We're going to go back to the phones. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, my name is Bianca. I'm calling from Oregon.
How you doing, Bianca?
I'm doing well. I wanted to just say I give thanks for you, and you keep me sane out here in Oregon. And I constantly speak positive affirmations to your health because we do need you. And the first thing I would like to say is that I'm a realist, and I'm sad that this happened to this young woman, but it's definitely a reality check for the upper middle class blacks in America, and to let them know that, you know, we are in this together, and that I think that I come from Cleveland, Ohio, where it's not as easy to raise children as it is out here in Oregon, but we are still looked upon as one. So a lot of times people move to areas and become upper middle class and don't think that this is a problem for all of us. And especially in the schools, and they think that white supremacy is no longer alive, but in actuality it's alive and well and kicking. And I'm just use this as a learning example for my teenagers and her peers, because I'm very protective of them, and whenever they go to events and things, I'm constantly there, and she's wondering, why are you here? I'm 17, you know, it's like, because I know that you're endangered. You know, you might not see it, and they're kids, and they don't know any better, especially when they're raised in areas like this, these kids where they're like in predominantly white communities. They think that they're on a level playing field when they're not. Like you stated earlier, you know, white supremacy is still here. You know what I mean? Like, you need to prepare our youth to deal with this so they don't end up dead, so they don't end up disrespected and mistreated. You know, like I tell my kids, you expect a strike, but that doesn't mean you stop. You know what I mean? You keep swinging, but you got to know that people are against you.
Strong,
no matter
strong.
What class of money your family has.
Well said, Queen. Thanks for that call, sis. We're going to run. We got a break, but that was powerful, Queen. Caller. Welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, yes, this is Felicia Gibson from Levittown by way of Chicago. How you doing, Dr. Umar?
How you doing there, Sister Felicia?
I'm doing fine. I want to comment because your previous caller has stated how this is like a wake-up call for black people who live in the suburbs, who moved, you know, who find themselves like moving away from the city, and, you know, for whatever reason, you know, and thinking that, you know, if they moved their children to the suburbs, that, you know, they were pretty much keeping their children safe from harm from the city. You know, and I agree with her, because it is a wake-up call, because it's like, even though you may think that you're moving your child to a safe environment, better education, and everything else, but there are so many other elements that's in the suburb that exist that I don't think black parents even take it to consideration, like the major drug use that goes on in the suburb that is not pretty much. It's not covered too much. You know, the news media always focus more on the drug use in the city, but you have a major drug use in the suburb. You know, that's amongst the teenagers. So you have all this going on, and so it's like, it's a really big wake-up call for that part. And then there was another part I wanted to say is that it's also a wake-up call for us black women to see that we're not, we're victimized as well, and that we really need to unite and join with our black men to fight this war together. This is something that is important. Like Sister Anna has said it before, we have failed our children and everything. And it's like, when you're so busy focusing on your own issues instead of working together, because the only way you're going to solve your problems is that you got to come together and work and solve those issues together. And then you can work on other things too, but it's like we have to come together, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, is that we have to unite as a family to be able to address all the dilemmas that's affecting black people, because it's not just affecting, as you see now, it's not just affecting black men, it's affecting black women, it's affecting the black boys, because on that video, if people notice, and that's one thing I noticed, that was not to take away from the young lady, but he singled out all the black children.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Queen.
Yes, he did.
But the young man even stated, the one who videotaped it, he said, I was standing there, and he told us to sit down, but he never came at me. And he was a white boy.
That's right. That's right. Well said, Felicia. Well said. Thanks for that call, Queen. Please feel free to call again. Excellent analysis there, young lady. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Okay, no problem. I'm going to read a couple of the Instagrams. Okay, first I got a message from Sister Aura from Charlotte. She sent me a text. She said, the truth is too painful for many to even acknowledge. Police officer had both of his knees on her spine and back of her neck. His whole weight was on her body as he pressed her face into the ground. You called it. We're reverting back to times of enslavement, and Obama is not even out of office. The lack of response is almost like there is a conflict of interest to address the need of black women and children. Black women are pawns in the feminist movement, and their relationship with white feminists needs to be reevaluated if our interests or struggles cannot be addressed. Well said. That was Sister Oris from Charlotte. She was one of the vendors at the Three Kings event in Brooklyn. Shout out to her. Sister Marcia out of Queens said he never answered the most important question: where are the women, especially the topless say her name chicks? And that's very important. Thank you for that, Sister Marcia. In other words, there's a lot of feminists on Facebook. They're upset with Dr. Umar for asking them where they are, but they never asked the question, where are they? The only thing they're telling me is a hashtag say her name movement. What is that doing? I mean, why y'all not out in the streets doing something? Very, very interesting. Now, when I go back over to Instagram, and I'm noticing something, my Instagram crowd is more revolutionary than my Facebook crowd. I don't know if it's because they're younger, and I don't know if they're younger. I'm just throwing out possible hypotheses, but the Instagram crowd is much more unapologetic than my Facebook crowd. I don't know if my Facebook crowd is more bourgeois and Instagram is more grassroots, but the comments, I'm comparing them against each other, and the Instagram comments are much more powerful. I mean, it just, even if I don't agree with them, they're definitely more energized. Somebody said, why is the Child Protective Services not doing anything? Shouldn't he be charged with child abuse? If that was a black mother who beat up her daughter the way that cop beat up that girl, she would be charged with child abuse. So are police exempt from being charged with child abuse? That was excellent. Someone else said, no, she only was so-called running her mouth due to the fact that she saw them illegally detaining the other boys. If I saw that, I would take up for them as well. I took up for a homeless man the cops were trying to harass. Your logic is flawed. The law is not on our side. Even knowing your rights, it is not. This is only one example of the feminists not coming to our aid. Look at the highway video of that melanin woman being beat and pummeled on by that police officer, and not one feminist group ran to her aid. Plenty of other examples as well. What are these other true matters you speak of? Because I thought they stood for the plight of women, and I'm not seeing it. Wow, powerful. And that was from a black woman, by the way. And then someone said, you made the fallacious assumption that I identify as a feminist. I do not. I'm just a defender of black people and black women. A lot of brothers can't take the criticism from black women on issues of abuse, especially coming from black men. Where's the outcry from black men when we are beaten and raped and harassed by black men? You're supposed to be our fathers, husbands, and brothers. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm not against black men. I love my brothers. I want the same in return. I agree with her. I definitely agree with her. There is too much domestic violence. A lot of black women are raped by black men, harassed by black men. Of course, most black men don't do those crimes. Okay, let's be clear. But that crime does take place, and black women are more likely to be the victims of rape by black men and white men. I agree with that comment. She's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. Someone else says, I agree. Where are the feminists at when this stuff happens? I was talking to my 14-year-old friend on the phone, and she broke down on the phone about this incident. They're attacking us, the children. We can't let them attack our children. Where are our parents to help protect us? Now, this is coming from a child. This is coming from a child. I don't know how she got on my Instagram, but it's all good. This is coming from a child. And she's saying, I'm going to read this again. This is from a 14-year-old. I agree. Where are the feminists at when this stuff happens? I was talking to my 14-year-old friend on the phone, and she broke down on the phone about this incident. They are attacking us, the children. We can't let them attack our children. Where are our parents to help protect us? Are y'all hearing that? This is a child saying, where are our parents at? Question is, do we have to physically separate from white people? That is a child asking me. And that's another question, y'all. How much is too much? Let's focus on that for these last 40 minutes of the show. How much is too much? Okay, we're going to go back to the phone laws. If you want to join the conversation, 888-669-2281, 888-669-2281. We're going back to the phone lines. You're listening to the Roland Martin Show. This is guest host Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Charles, and I'm calling from the Washington, D.C. area.
How you doing there, Brother Charles?
I'm doing okay, Dr. Umar.
All right. What do you think about this situation?
Well, I think it's a long, continuous trend of police abuse of the African-American community. Particularly, it's a slap in the face, particularly the way they're attacking defenseless women. And in this particular case in McKinney, Texas, this girl is, 13 years old and in a swimsuit, and somehow or another the cop just dehumanized her and didn't even factor in the fact that she was totally defenseless and really unable to do anything except talk and scream. That's it. So I think that the police officer that did what he did, I don't remember, I think it's Eric something, should be terminated from his job and possibly prosecuted. It's also important to note that the people that started the fight, the white residents in that community, and most of those black kids lived in that community. I want to read about where they've been arrested for simple assault, for starting the fight, beating up on minors, cursing them, hate crimes, things like that. So this is just a sociologist's test tank, and that you kind of got to see the police rush in and grab all the black kids and the white people that were involved. They just ignored them and ran right to the black people, and everybody there, for the most part, lived in that neighborhood, and they were attending a party thrown by a girl who got assaulted by a white adult. And so I think that I think it's just typical racism.
I got you. One more quick question, my brother, before I let you go and go to the other callers. What is your take on this whole feminism, masculinism thing? Like, why do you feel the women feel they want to fight without the men want to fight without the women? Like, what's up with this divide and conquer thing? Do we not understand it takes the whole family? It can't be just the men. It can't be just the women. But why do you feel we're more comfortable only fighting with people of the same gender within our community?
Oh, you're asking me to answer a question whose premise I'd have to think about. I'm not sure how to answer that, but if I understand you correctly, and I don't want to commit a straw man fallacy because I do respect your work. If I do, just correct me. But I think that there's a couple of things that are going on. The idea is to break up the black family so that we can't form strong community. You do that by kind of dividing up the men and the women so that the women don't trust the men, and the men become emasculated and feminized so they're unable or unwilling to defend the women. And a subscript of that is the feminist movement, which was never in our favor in the first place. And unfortunately, many of our women were duped into buying into the independent women concept and actually thinking that they don't need men when they really do. And it's not that one's inferior or superior. We play different and complementary roles for each other. So, that's all.
Well said. Thank you for that call, my brother. Thank you so very much. caller. Welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Michael Iguatu from Alexandria, Virginia.
How we doing there, my brother?
I'm all right, King. I'm all right. First and foremost, I want to thank you for what you're doing with your life right now. And I'm a huge supporter of what you got going on. I'm actually the guy that made the Dr. Umar versus Hillary Clinton.
Oh man, thank you, my brother. That helped drive a lot of attention to my fundraiser, man. I appreciate that.
Nope.
And keep them coming. Keep them coming, my brother. Whenever you got some creative juices flowing, keep them coming, man, and send them on out there.
Oh, man, that's what I do. You don't got to worry about that at all. My main question right now was actually with the way society is and the whole idea of making it and getting out of the hood. You move out into a community that you're surrounded around a whole nother culture. So should we really start moving back into the hood and create a paradise there instead of really trying to get out of the hood? Because it's like we get out of that same community that made us who we are. So what's the point of running away from it? Why not make it better and live amongst, like I'm from Nigeria. Back home, the village is paradise to me. You're surrounded around generations of family. So why are we moving away from that into a whole other culture that we're obviously not accepted by? So why don't we build a paradise that everybody loves? And the white people not about to come in here, so this is our land, this is our home. We just got to build up our own hood.
Well said, and I agree with you. The problem is black people don't like other black folk. And the other thing, too, interestingly, is that even though we were in the ghetto alone, in the hood alone, it was the white power system that dominated the ghetto through the joblessness, the welfare programs, and everything else. So even though we lived there, the system of oppression was totally controlled by the outsider. Now, and I agree with you, we should have locked the hood down. I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake we made. When white flight came between the 50s and the 70s, black people should have bought up every piece of property in the ghetto. We should have owned every abandoned house. We should have owned every lot. We did not do that. And when we did not do that, it made it so easy for the white folk to come back and gentrify the ghetto because we didn't own it. We were simply rent payers. And that's, you see that we never locked it down. And we had the ghetto to ourselves for 30 years, man, and didn't do nothing with it. And now they just coming in and taking it back. And at this point, I think it's too late in most places. In the big cities, maybe not in the rural black community, but in like DC, where I'm in now, DC been gentrified, Philly gentrified. You know what I mean? So many of the metropolises, but I think we need to learn from this. And speaking to your point, we need to lock down the new areas that we in. If they sending us out to the suburbs and they want to play musical chairs, then we need to lock down that suburb. We need to learn from this so we can never be displaced again.
Absolutely. And if the plan is to go back home on some Marcus Garvey, then I feel like really that's what I tell my friends, and they don't want to hear that. They like, I'm from here, I'm gonna die here, I'm not going to Africa. Little kids running around with AKs, and it's not like that. But don't nobody see any other part of Africa, so nobody really wants to make that move. But it's going to take a few homegrown, somebody from Philly, somebody from DC, moving out there, and then you post a couple pictures on Instagram, and life is lovely, and then it's going to slowly start a wave.
The well said, my brother. And I'm going to tell you something about the Africa piece. We better hurry up and make our move, because the way the Chinese and the European is making inroads in Africa, they damn near about to gentrify Africa. I mean, literally, they're about to gentrify Africa and push black folk out the big cities in Africa. And it'll be the same situation that we have here in America, where we no longer have a stake to the inner city business district. That's how they're doing. They're trying to make Africa like America, where black folks are only seen and heard when they need to come to work. So we need to make our move on Africa soon, because if we wait too long, we're going to miss our time period for us to really implement a serious Pan-African program of cooperation.
You're absolutely right. Are you speaking in D.C.?
today or tomorrow?
Juveniles, only with juveniles. There's a juvenile organization that invited me down to do a 2-day conference with the young folk, so I'm just here to do that. But I will be back on the 20th, Saturday the 20th. I'll be part of the Fab Five Power Talk Part 2. Dick Gregory, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Anthony Browder, Dr. Claude Anderson, and myself. It's a 2-day event, but I'll be speaking on the 20th. I need to get that flyer, by the way, and if you text me in a few hours, I should be able to send it to you.
All right, no question.
Thanks a lot, my brother.
You, sir, and God bless your life.
Thanks a lot, bro. Be safe out there. Yes, yes, indeed. Powerful people calling in with good information. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
This is Mark from Phoenix.
How we doing there, my brother?
Good, brother. Umar, how you doing?
I'm doing well. What do you think about this whole situation?
I think it's crazy, man. I think the reality is that they're playing a psychological game on us, and we are just not picking up on the issues. It seems that everything is basically framed. Every incident that happens to black people is framed as an individual event. And I think they're basically playing on the fact that, we don't basically look at non-immediate threats to us as individuals as a threat that's coming. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the real challenge is trying to get us wired to understand that, this is a threat to us as a people and not just to random individuals.
That's well said. That is well said. And you're speaking of something that I talk on, Dr. Claude Anderson talks on, and that is the group nature, the collective nature of racism, exploitation, abuse, marginalization. But whenever they do it, they try to treat it like an isolated incident. In other words, what happened to that little girl was totally different from what happened to Michael Brown. What happened to Michael Brown had nothing to do with what happened to Trayvon. What happened to Trayvon had nothing to do with what happened to Eric Garner. What happened to Eric Garner had nothing to do with what happened to Rodney King. You see how they like to individualize it to take away the fact that this is systematic. This ain't individual random events of racism. This is systematic. Now, what do you make about the lack of response from, and I'm not picking on them, I'm just seeking clarity. Why haven't we heard more outcry from America's black, female, and feminist organizations? They were quiet as I don't know what after this little girl got treated like this. I thought they would have been in the streets and going off, and you don't do that to a woman. I haven't heard anything about her being a woman being an issue yet.
Right. Absolutely not, because there is no real such thing as the black feminist movement. It's just a carbon copy of the white feminist movement, where basically white women are arguing with their men for equal opportunities and acceptance, and black people don't seem to understand that because we're always trying to fight to be accepted by the dominant society. So unfortunately, black women have been caught up in that, trying to fight for equality when you're never even, perceived as equal anyway.
Wow.
So they have no reason to stand up.
Wow. Powerful, my brother. One last question for you. What do you think we can do to get out of this?
It's going to take some education, and that's why everybody needs to go and support you on GoFundMe and contribute. We have to change the system, and you can't do that piecemeal. It has to be a revolutionary movement together.
Wow.
And get the children. Get the children.
Powerful. Thank you for that comment, my brother. We're going to run and grab a few more before we end up in these last 15 minutes. Thanks for that call, good brother. Next up, caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson, the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, how you doing, brother Umar? My name.
How's it going there, my brother?
All right. Hey,
where you calling from there?
Oh, I apologize. I'm calling from NC, North Carolina.
All right, North Carolina, not a problem. I'll be in South Carolina on Saturday, Charleston.
Yeah, but I can't make that engagement. I would love to.
No problem.
I was just calling because I'm listening to the conversation you and the other brother was having as far as the young brothers and sisters out here today and the problems that's going on in our community with our brothers and stuff like that. I'm understanding that this way. I hear that the way you're speaking. Do you think that Willie Lynch syndrome is coming back all over again?
I don't think it's coming back. I don't think it ever left. you feel me?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it ever left, my brother.
And my thing is, I live down here in Raleigh. And like you said,
Hold that thought right there, my brother. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back to you. Hold that thought. Hang on for me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Doc, is this my last segment here, or do we got one more? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming down to the end of the show, the end of the hour. We got 15 minutes left. I'm going to hit up the phone lines in a second. But somebody put something on my Facebook at Dr. Umar Ifatunde that was very profound. I just read it. Someone said the reason why the black female and feminist groups did not come out on this issue of the teenage girl being beat is because the whole confrontation was provoked by white females. This was profound. And they said if they would have came out in defense of the sister, that would have put them in confrontation or conflict with the white women who started the whole commotion. Remember, the girl got smacked by white females. So the black feminists are too afraid to confront white women because they may lose support from the white feminist movement. Wow, that was profound. Back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. I'm going to ask my callers to keep your comments brief or questions brief because we want to get through as many as we can. State your name and where you're calling from, please. Caller, you're live. How you doing, sister? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York. How are you?
Brooklyn. All is well, sis. Were you in the house this past Saturday for Three Kings?
I missed it. I was on that CCT, Dr. Umar, and I missed it. And
That's okay, babe. That's okay. We're going to do it again.
At 2 a.m., right?
Yes,
You'll be
indeed.
back here on Wednesday, right?
On the 21st, June 21st, I'll be back with the UAM. That's correct. That's correct. What do you think about what's going on here, sister?
Oh, I'm just so torn, and honestly, what my question really is about is what I've been talking with a lot of my, my community about, and it's something that I really look to you for too, Dr. Umar. Is just where is our leadership and our organization to take us to another level to say, we need to organize. I know you're building schools. I know you're building the net worth, and you preach about Black economics, and I definitely follow you for your leadership. But my question is, when is it going to when is the shift going to happen where action is happened, where we take a stance and there's a difference, and we're not just seeing these stories happen day after day and on to the next story and on to the next story. I think it's great that it's finally becoming more aware and exposed, but now that it is aware and exposed, how can we really have some fundamental change? And I feel like that comes from like our Martins and our Malcolms and our Dr. Umar Johnsons,
Yeah, very well. So I know with the Three Kings, Dr. Claude Anderson and myself, we were scheduled to have dinner together Friday night to talk about some strategies, but he got tied up. He had to go and serve another community, understandably. So he and I are going to meet soon because I'm very serious about the economic agenda. He's very serious about the economic agenda. We're also unapologetically African. You do have other scholars who speak on economics, but a lot of them are not unapologetically African. They don't want to lose their relationship with white folk. So we're going to try to come up with something that's unapologetically African as far as the economic agenda, but we are going in that direction. It is taking some time. I'm also looking at some Pan-African things too, but we pushing, Queen. We definitely, some of us out here who are pushing. So when I'm not building for that school, I'm pushing because I know there's no one magic bullet. My school will be piece of the solution, but it's not the whole solution. We got to hit every issue that we have. Well said. Well said. But thank you for that.
I just feel like you can definitely spearhead that as, a real leader because your realism, like you've been on all atmospheres, and especially dealing with our youth because that's really where it starts. You see how our youth has been attacked and, what comes of it. So I just feel like it's waiting on you, Dr. Umar. I'm here. I definitely support you in the movement, and I try to come out and learn and build knowledge from you as much as I can. But I'm waiting for that shift, really. You know.
I got you.
I guess patience is a virtue.
I got you. No problem, sis. I will not disappoint. Trust me. I'll give my life before I disappoint you, my queen.
I know you do, brother, and I appreciate that. And we're here supporting you. So thank you for all you do. Don't take it like I'm not appreciative, because I love you, brother. I really do. So thank you for all that you do, especially putting your life on the line. I know it's not easy.
Thanks so much. Thanks for that call. Will do. And I look to see you in Brooklyn on the 21st. Much love, Queen. Beautiful sister there. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Geneva. I'm from Houston, Texas. And I wanted to say this. I mad respect you, Brother Omar, and I love black. Well, I say black for the sake of conversation. My brothers again. So, I want to say this. We need to get off our soapbox and fix it ourselves. This is out of control. And we constantly, I work at the stadium down here. And I talk about it, and I call these men gods, and they tell me they are not. And I look and say, how can you not be when you gave life to the universe? I don't understand it. Everybody, my thing, I talk about, let's stop, make our own stuff. Let's stop going to them. We're never going to get justice. We're never going to get peace. They treat us like shit. Excuse me. They treat us like they are. And we keep begging for a handout. We want this.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Queen. Watch that language. No language. You good. No language, though. Go ahead. You doing well. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm frustrated, brother, because I hear about the system and I talk about it. And everybody says, oh, it's the system. Well, if this is not working for 400 years, it's not going to work right now. We need to stop giving them our money. We need to like you said, we need our own economics. We don't need to be dependent on them because they're never going to show us justice, ever. Our brothers are getting killed left and right. No one does nothing. Everybody protest is not working.
Got you. Well said, my queen. Well said. I'm going to run on that, but I want to repeat something you said that was powerful. You said if it didn't work for 400 years, it's not going to work now. Thanks so much for that call, Queen. We're going to run. Please call back tomorrow. We're going to move to our next caller. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Oh, yeah, my name is Cheryl, man. I'm calling from North Carolina, Raleigh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome, brother. You got about 30 seconds. Tell us what's on your mind.
30 seconds, man. I just want to say, man, we have to really get to a point in ourselves when we stop conquering ourselves. Once we stop conquering ourselves, we can really start living. And also, we have to move in a way that they've never seen before. There's nothing new under the sun, and we were here first. So we have to move in a direction that they've never seen before, and everything will fall back in line. That's what I believe.
Powerful, powerful. I'm with you on that, my brother. Thanks for that call. Thanks so much. Please call back again tomorrow. I'm back on here guest hosting. We're going to go to the next caller. Caller, welcome to the Roland Martin Show. This is Dr. Umar Johnson. State your name and where you're calling from, please.
Dr. Umar, this is your favorite firefighter from Boston, Big Salih calling.
Oh, man, Brother Salih. What's good, my brother? What's good? You know what? I want you to analyze something for me, Salih. But, I want you to give your own comments as well. But what I just read off Facebook, I thought was profound. And I think it came from a sister. Someone said the reason why the black feminist groups did not, come to the sister's aid in this brutality case is because the whole situation was started by white women. And had they came to the sister's aid, they may have had to engage and confront the white women who started the whole situation, which may have caused issues with them within the white feminist movement. I thought that was profound. What's your thoughts on that?
Not only was it profound, Dr. Umar, the conversation ended because that was the one commentary. Now, you earlier in the show, you said, why aren't we answering that question? Here's the question, what's the answer? Here's the answer. And I find it very interesting that within the context of the feminist movement, period, and the feminist, I would say, use and then discarding of black women. That's what happened in history, fam. That's exactly what the feminists did. When they used black women and then discarded them, that's what they're doing right now. In this particular instance, a microcosm of what has happened in history. If you don't know your history, you will be forced to repeat it, and that's exactly what's happening.
Pow, pow, pow. Thanks for that call, Brother Salih. Boston, I'm going to be coming back up there, but go ahead. You had something else.
No, that was it, fam. I wanted to really pinpoint, spotlight that one.
Yes,
and
sir.
Thanks to whoever wrote it. Again, and we're doing, and you know this, family, we're doing a program for black boys here in Boston called Know Thyself, and that's one of the things that we do is we go into the history that nobody wants to talk about except for Dr. Umar and certain other people. So we're trying to, again, build on that E5 Tuesday energy, and so you don't got to do all the work. Yeah.
I feel you. Thanks for that, my big brother Salih. First one to bring me to Boston. Yes, sir. Can't wait to get back up there, my brother. We're going to make that happen. I think we might got time for one more call, or is that time? That's time? Okay, we got time for one more call. Thanks, Brother Salih. We're going to run caller. You're the last one for the day. My other callers, please call back in tomorrow. Welcome to the Roland Martin Show. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
This is Sister Anna from Mississippi again, Dr. Umar, and thank you so much for taking my call again. I do have to say that.
Sure, no problem. You got 20 seconds before we wrap up. You got it.
What I wanted to say to everybody that is actually listening, we have to maintain our faith, and we have to keep it pushing. We got to get back to our original state. That's the original entity that made us who we are. We've got to get to that actual essence. We've got to do our own group economics. And I want to make sure that everybody supports Dr. Umar. This brother is doing everything in his power that he possibly can to get the information out and to help us as a whole.
Thanks for that, Sister Anna. We're going to cut on there. Thanks so much, Queen. The music coming in. We wrap it up. That was Sister Anna McMillian representing Mississippi. Brothers.